Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices with Nandagopal Rajan. This time we are going to talk about something we use quite a bit, the accessories that connect us to our devices. With us, we couldn't have gotten a better person because we have Srinivas Rao, who's country head of Logitech. And Logitech, as you know, is one of the biggest players in the accessory space, spread across whatever you do in your computing life or in your digital life. Mr. Rao, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nandu. Thank you for having me here.
So let me start by asking the very obvious question. We all moved into the pandemic by moving into our work from home lives, and we could see, we heard, we know for a fact that everybody was trying to improve the situation of working from home by getting the right accessories that made it comfortable, that made it feel a little bit office-like, professional, even though you were working at home, maybe sharing even your table with the other people at home who were also trying to do the same. So can you tell us about what happened in the pandemic? What kind of a boost did you get? What was the demand for? What were the trends you saw?
If you take a step back, nobody actually even thought of this pandemic happening. I mean, not even in the wild dreams. So suddenly, when it hit, obviously people were started adapting and to this new normal, and the only way to adapt to the new normal was to adopt technology, right? So what happened was, every household had some device or the other to start increasing their productivity. Now people started doing work from home, so everybody was having some kind of a device, whether it was a laptop, desktop, iPads, some kind of a tablet. Then what happened is, obviously during the pandemic, people actually long for social interaction, right? So during the day it was like a work from home, and during the nights, because of the longing for the social interaction, people's the casual gamers who were doing more on a mobile wanted a better experience, and they started looking at a play from home, right? That happened. And for students, of course, it was like, learn from home, because the entire schooling shifted at home, so children started learning from home. And a lot of our consumers, people like you, me, started creating a lot of content, right? And that is where people started doing, content creation. So all in all, pre-pandemic anyway, there was a good secular growth trends across all the accessories, but the pandemic really added a lot of tailwinds to this secular growth. Now, post the pandemic, people have got, adjusted to this, and this is what we call as a new normal. Now, typically, for us, we work, thrice we go to office thrice a week, depending upon the need, but it is not like, all 5 days. So it's like at every household there is something called a hybrid kind of a environment which has started, which every household has created a hybrid work environment, where people are doing from work from home, they are play from home, doing stream from home. That's what we call as a content creation, and the learn from home is continuing to happen. So this is actually what has completely changed the overall paradigm of what used to happen earlier to what it is now.
So in that period when people moved to this work from home, play from home scenario, did you see the demand? Was it similar to what you would have expected, or the kind of things that people were demanding for work from home? Was it different from your usual patterns of consumption?
See, typically, obviously, when this happened, there was a far higher demand in terms of all the accessories. That's one. The second thing is also, typically, uh, consumers and largely the Gen Zs and the millennials, uh, they have a certain lifestyle. Now when you are at home, they would still like to, showcase or flaunt that lifestyle. So what has created is, that is what people have started adapting to and adopting to newer designs, newer technology, newer things. So that is where people have really showcased and shown what can be done for this accessory space.
So when people, people worked from home, obviously you are in a little more relaxed situation, compared to your office, and you can maybe, you can add things maybe that office will never give you. So did you see people, pushed into new spaces where it was more about convenience, and maybe you will never ask your office to maybe give you, but people were maybe looking at laptop stands and things that actually, are more, in tune with convenience than increasing productivity.
100%. So what we saw was, one, definitely convenience. Second, also in term, we really saw in terms of people looking at how do you improve productivity. Now I'll briefly touch upon this. Now, as far as convenience is concerned, now people started, which is true for everyone, each one of us, whether it is me, whether it is you, people started preferring, healthy or ergonomic kind of products, whether it was an ergonomic chair, whether it was an ergonomic stand, and therefore people also started looking at ergonomic accessories. With that keeping in mind, actually you will not believe, we have had some wonderful products, and we really saw a huge takeoff on this ergonomic series of products. Just to give you a very very small example, you know uh, this is what we call as an ergonomic mouse. This is a typical mouse, right, which is typically a flat like this, and this ergonomic is something like this, right? Your hand is not like this, but your hand is like this. So this actually reduces the strain on the nerves of the palm. And we have seen, this is a product what we call as a lift. The scroll is like this, so you hold something like this. The palm is not like this, but palm is like this, right? So there is we saw a huge demand for ergonomic accessories. That is one. The second thing is in terms of productivity. Obviously, when people were sitting at home, all said and done, every enterprise was pushing for a higher productivity. Now, with that said, obviously we had a couple of new products which improved the productivity, and which we call them as the power users. Now, again, to give you a very very small example, this is the mouse what we use in MX Master 3S. Now, what does this mouse do? Typically, this scrolls 1,000 lines in 1 second, right? So that's how, and with a higher DPI, 8K DPI, and all that. So people really looked at the productivity. Net, what happened was, people were definitely looking at convenience, people were looking at productivity. Having said all this, ultimately what happened, there was a video which really people started going on video. There was no face-to-face interaction, so obviously people had to do video. And what we saw is tremendous amount of demand for our streaming and video conferencing devices and our webcams. And everybody would like to have a nice experience, and that is where we as Logitech come in to offer the kind of experience what consumers look forward for.
So, as people start coming back to office, maybe we are in a hybrid mode now, but a hybrid mode that is more inclined towards the office than work from home. As we gradually, make the movement back. So, are you seeing that a lot of the habits that people formed, working from home over the past 2 years, is that putting pressure on office spaces and office, the IT administration to start acquiring things that people have got used to?
Absolutely, Nandu. What happened was, as I said, people really went for convenience and productivity, and therefore now what we look at is, this is the new normal. Now every you me would have, or we have already created the hybrid space, and when we have created the hybrid space, we would need the accessories to make it more functional. And every consumer would like to flaunt their lifestyle. So we have now wonderful kind of accessories which actually are in tune with that kind of a need. And this is the new normal, and this is what will continue to happen now.
So, as a company, when you had this sudden change in your, um, the disruption that happened, and then you had this sudden demand spike, how did Logitech as a company sort of, come in tunes with that? Of course, you had your stock and whatever, but you maybe also had to think about new products given the new trends, like you mentioned video streaming. But how did Logitech as a company adapt to that?
Obviously, nobody thought that this would happen initially. Yes, there were tremendous shortages, but our factories and our supply chain team did a wonderful job in terms of trying to keep pace with that demand. And of course, as Logitech, design is at the center of everything what we do. And we obviously are looking at giving great experiences to the consumers. So therefore we kept thinking in terms of how do we improve the experiences. And over that period we came out with a lot of new products, like what I showed, the lift, which is a vertical kind of a mouse, which we call as a lift, Logitech lift. So therefore what we one, yes, there were shortages, but as I said, our teams really did well, and to keep up with pace on in terms of the demand, we ramped up our productions, we ramped up our supply chains, and we ensured we give enough products to the consumers there.
So, are you seeing that a lot of trends that took place, during the past years, is that going to stay? Is that going to influence your product line going forward? Because you think, you said this is the new normal, but is this also going to be how products are going to be designed, thought of in the future? Because your customer has also changed in the process of the past 2 years.
So absolutely, this new normal is here to stay on basis that we have started looking at the consumer demand, the consumer experiences, basis that we are looking at the products. We now have products something like what you call as multi-device products. Now what does this multi-device product do? This one single device, one single mouse or a keyboard gets connected to three different devices. It can be your laptop, it can be your tablet, it can be your mobile phone. And these are platform agnostic. So one device can be Windows, one device can be a Mac, and the third device can be an Android. So this our products, which is what we have, these multi-device, we have this K380, K480, K580 keyboards, we have our MX Master series, and we have our pop keys. So what are we doing ultimately? What are we doing? What we are doing is, how do we give that experience? And typically what happens in a household, you're trying to create some content on a desktop. At the same time, there is a message which pops up in your iPad or on your mobile phone, and you try to respond it. So our keyboards, what does it gets connected to all the three devices. You are trying to create a content, you continue to create that content, suddenly there is a pop-up message from one of your customers or from one of your friends. With that same keyboard, you type your message. At the same time, our keyboards now also have the emoji keys. We have these pop keys which have the emoji buttons. Now if you're responding to a friend and one would like to share some emoji, and you just press that emoji button, and there you are. So therefore our design, our engineering, our products, whatever is coming out, is catering to this kind of new demand and this kind of new consumers, what we the typical, the millennials and the Gen Z's there.
So are millennials also dictating a lot of the styling of the devices, because it's not all black anymore, right?
100% bang on, Nandu. I mean, if you see the new Logitech products, they are very very vibrant, very minimalistic. People try, and you try to flaunt your own lifestyle. So look at all our new recent launches. They are very very vibrant, colorful, minimalistic, and wonderful kind of design products there. And yes, these colors, and we have seen a tremendous amount of growth in terms of these kind of colors within that space. It is no longer a black and a gray. So Logitech is becoming more younger. We are a 40-year-old young company, and we are becoming younger by the day. So look at the kind of products what we had 5-7 years down earlier, and the kind of products what we have. Look at our pop keys, our pop mouse, very very vibrant, bold. look at our multi-device keyboards, look at our any of the recent launches, and they are very, very vibrant.
So you had a period where, like, I would say wireless and wired devices coexisted, right? And it was just a preference kind of thing where, like, okay, if you want a wireless device, you buy, maybe you pay a little bit more for the convenience of a wireless device. But in the past 2 years, would it be right to say that the market has moved towards wireless now, that, like, and wired is something that is a little bit more niche, and you have maybe a very specific reason for sticking to wired?
Absolutely, you have hit the right point, and it's this is the right question here. What we have seen is, even in our gaming products, typically, gaming products largely used to be wired. Why wired? Because they thought that wireless will create the lag, and will create the response time will be slow and all. But now, with the new kind of products what we have launched recently, G50X 502X Lightspeed, G502X Lightspeed. Now, this is with a Lightspeed technology. What is a Lightspeed technology? This is our own technology, which it is an end-to-end wireless solution with a very, very minimum response time. It's a 1 millisecond response time is what you get. And gaming is very, very, you need to be very, very precise, right? So therefore, wireless has we have seen a huge demand in the wireless products, whether it is normal personal workspace or in gaming. We have seen a huge demand for the wireless products.
Is there any difference per se now between wireless and wired? You would say wireless is as good as wired, right? As far as the latency goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So people are no longer, now from a latency perspective, wireless is as good as wired products. We have all the light with the Lightspeed technology, that our response time is 1 millisecond now. So it's as good as that. Precise 8K PIs. So we have hero sensors. We have done a lot in terms of lot of engineering and design in terms of our products. Most of our gaming products now we have a hero sensor. Now with that hero sensor, the precise, what does a a pro gaming gamer pro looks like? He looks forward for a precise kind of a gaming experience, and that's what we bring in with all these kind of products.
So you also mentioned initially about learn from home, and learn from home, even as students are going back to school, even the school is becoming a hybrid form factor. Like, you would have maybe in the future also days when children will actually study from home and not be in class physically. So how is education sector adapting to this? And that also, I think, opens up a lot of opportunities for companies like yours.
Absolutely. I myself has seen my son. There are times wherein he is looking. Forget about the pandemic. Even during now, post pandemic, there have been classes which are online, learn from home, and we have seen, which is true with every student. He's in ninth standard, and which is true with every teacher, that the teacher wants every student to be switching on their web cameras, at least to see what the kid is doing, right? So therefore, we have seen all this collaboration products like the web cameras and headsets take off of demand for these web cameras and the headsets. And I think this is, as I said, is here to stay. And the hybrid model, even in a schooling, is here to stay. And I'm sure this will continue.
So one last question I want to ask you is, as a company, leading a company that has seen one of the biggest impacts, from the pandemic in a positive way. What is your biggest learning of the past 2 years?
The biggest learning, what we think is, consumers are changing, and they are more demanding. They would like to flaunt their lifestyle, and therefore we, as Logitech, we need to be keeping pace with those kind of demands. And also, people are very, very people all the consumers are very, very loud about their choices. And we are trying to keep pace with all those choices. and all those experiences. I'll give you another simple example. Now, everybody has a laptop, and all the laptops have the integrated web cameras. Now, we have seen people coming and saying, "Ki, boss, this the integrated webcam of the laptop is really not the kind of experience we want to give when we are talking to our customers or when we are talking to our teams." And therefore, people have even asked for 4K webcams. It's like 720p HD and then a 4K. So now we also have 4K webcams which are catering to the consumer demands. So that's an experience. So we are tweaking all our products to those kind of demands, and the experience is what we want to give it to our consumers.
I guess if you're in a Zoom call with 100 people, you want to stand out in some way and be heard and seen better than the others.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's true. Very true, Nandu. As I said, people are demanding in terms of ergonomics. People are demanding in terms of productivity. People are demanding in terms of they want to flaunt their lifestyles in terms of what they have, and all our products we are trying to keep pace with those kind of consumer
Yes.
demands. Yeah.
So you were listening to Srinivas Rao, who's country head of Logitech. Thanks, sir, for being on the show. Very interesting conversation.
Thank you, Nandu, for having me here. It was really a pleasure talking to you and the entire team here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You were listening to Our Own Devices with Nandagopal Rajan. We'll be back again next week with another guest. Till then, our pods are available everywhere you listen to your pods.